Ladies and gentlemen, the Dallas Cowboys aren't standing still. They're hunting for every possible edge to strengthen this roster. And that relentless pursuit continues even after minicamp wraps up. Right now, the Cowboys are bringing in 5 new players for workouts, a clear sign that this front office is leaving no stone unturned. That's not just smart, that's strategic. Over the past few seasons, Dallas has made a habit of digging into alternative leagues, looking beyond the traditional NFL pipeline. And they've struck gold. Need a reminder? Kevontae Turpin. That name alone proves this method works. A former standout in spring football and now a Pro Bowler, making plays in the NFL. His journey wasn't conventional, but it was real, and it paid off. That's why this matters. This isn't about long shots. It's about underrated talent that just needs the right spotlight. These workouts could be the start of another Cinderella story. A player on the edge of the league, finally breaking through. And let's be honest, the Cowboys aren't doing this for show. They've had serious success with these moves before. Turpin wasn't a fluke, and neither was Brandon Aubrey, who came in and proved he belonged in the league. Since the USFL and XFL merged in 2024, the talent pool in spring football has only gotten stronger, and Dallas is watching closely. As Stephen Jones said during OTAs, they're evaluating everything these leagues produce. We're paying attention, he said, because we've already found real contributors through this process. And that's the key. This front office understands that NFL dreams don't always follow a straight line. Some guys take the back roads, some take the long road. But if they've got talent, Dallas is going to find them. This isn't just due diligence. It's the Cowboys' way of staying ahead. Watch this space. As the Cowboys wrap up mandatory minicamp and shift their focus toward training camp, the front office is already making moves, and all eyes are on defense. Reports confirm that Dallas is preparing workouts for 4 players, with 2 names already standing out. What's even more telling than the names themselves, the positions. When the Cowboys start bringing in certain types of players, it tells you exactly where they feel the roster still needs tightening. And right now, it's clear. The defensive front is under the microscope. The first name, Pyion Winfrey, defensive tackle, just 24 years old, and ready for another shot at the league. Winfrey's resume speaks for itself. A former 4th-round pick by the Cleveland Browns in 2022, he also spent time with the New York Jets in 2023. Most recently, he tore it up in the UFL with the Birmingham Stallions, the same team that gave us Brandon Aubrey. And Winfrey didn't just play, he dominated. In just 10 games, he put up 29 total tackles, including 17 solo and 9 for loss. Add in 4 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and a sack. And you're looking at a player who made his presence known every snap. That performance earned him all UFL honors in 2025. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Winfrey isn't walking into Dallas blind. He's familiar with Aaron White-Cotton, the Cowboys' newly appointed defensive line coach, and also with Tanzel Smart, a current assistant on staff. All 3 were together with the Jets. So this isn't just a workout. This is a potential reunion, a system fit, a chance for Winfrey to finally anchor himself into a defensive line rotation that still needs beefing up, especially against the run. This kind of opportunity isn't just about depth. It's about hunger. Winfrey has already shown what he can do when the pressure's on, and now he's knocking on the door of another NFL shot, this time with a team that might just have the right setup for him to succeed. And remember, we've seen this script before. A talented player, overlooked by the league, finds a second wind in spring football, then turns heads when the lights come back on. Turpin, Aubrey. Could Winfrey be next? Let's keep our eyes on him. Coming up next, another young DT, Devere Levelston, also 24, who's ready to make his own case. Let's keep it rolling, because the Cowboys aren't done. Another defensive tackle is on the radar, and this one's got a local connection. Devere Levelston, a native of DeSoto, Texas, is chasing the dream of a homecoming. After going undrafted in 2024 and initially signing with the Seattle Seahawks, Levelston made the smart move to join the Memphis Showboats of the UFL, sharpening his craft against quality competition. And he didn't waste time making an impact. Despite joining the team midway through the season, Levelston managed to rack up 12 tackles and 2 sacks. Solid production from a guy learning on the fly. The numbers might not leap off the page, but this isn't about the box score. It's about traits, it's about effort, and it's about upside. Right now, the Cowboys' interior defensive line still needs help. It's thin. It needs fire. And Levelston is stepping up to prove he can bring just that. But defense isn't only about the trenches. Dallas is also casting a wide net in the secondary. And it makes sense. There's still uncertainty surrounding Trevon Diggs' recovery, and depth at cornerback remains a real concern. Enter Jerry Jacobs, a 27-year-old corner from Atlanta, Georgia, who's been quietly building a resume that deserves another look. After battling his way through Hutchinson Community College, Arkansas State, and finally Arkansas, Jacobs signed with the Detroit Lions in 2023 and quickly earned a spot in the starting lineup. And when he got his shot, he made it count. Jacobs logged 55 total tackles, 3 interceptions, and started 12 games in 2023. That included a breakout performance against the Green Bay Packers where he picked off Jordan Love twice, something Cowboys fans surely wish had happened last January. He's since spent time with the Los Angeles Rams, and now he's aiming to prove he still belongs in this league. This is the type of battle-tested vet who could instantly compete for reps and add stability to a secondary that needs answers, not questions. And there's more. The Cowboys will also take a look at Rochelle, another 27-year-old corner with NFL experience. Originally drafted in the 4th round by Sean McVay's Rams, Rochelle is hungry for another shot. He hasn't made the same impact yet as some of the others on this list, but workouts like these are about opportunity, about unlocking potential that might have been overlooked. Make no mistake, these aren't just camp bodies. These are players with something to prove, and Dallas is giving them the stage to do it. When you look at the entire picture, defensive tackles grinding for a shot, corners clawing their way back, one thing is clear. The Cowboys are in evaluation mode, and they're not sitting back waiting for the season to start. They're attacking every angle, flipping every stone, and staying aggressive. If history has taught us anything, it's that these workouts can turn into something bigger. Because in Dallas, you don't just earn a jersey, you fight for it. Let's keep our focus on the names that matter, because the Cowboys are far from done evaluating potential reinforcements. One of the more intriguing additions to the workout list is Rochelle, a player with real NFL mileage. Originally drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, Rochelle has since made stops with 4 different teams, most recently with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2025. He's suited up for 48 NFL games, and while he's not a headline maker, that kind of experience brings value, especially for a team looking to solidify its cornerback depth. That's what this feels like. A smart, targeted move to reinforce the bottom of the cornerback room. The Cowboys aren't chasing stars here. They're looking for stability, competition, and depth. They're building a roster from top to bottom, and Rochelle might be a piece that quietly strengthens the foundation. But perhaps the biggest name to surface in this workout group, that's George Fant, a veteran offensive tackle with over 100 NFL games and 75 starts under his belt. Fant is a seasoned pro who could bring instant leadership to a young offensive line. The 32-year-old started his career with the Seattle Seahawks and later had a solid stint with the New York Jets, where he matched up regularly against defenses coached by none other than Aaron White-Cotton, now a member of the Cowboys' defensive staff. That familiarity matters. White-Cotton has seen Fant up close. He knows the kind of player he is, the toughness, the technique, the mindset. That kind of insider intel could be what gives Fant the edge in earning a spot in Dallas. What makes Fant even more valuable is his potential role. He's not being brought in to be a savior. He's being evaluated as a veteran stabilizer, someone who could help anchor the edge, offer guidance to the younger linemen, and step in when needed without the moment being too big. Let's be honest. Outside of Tyron Smith, this offensive line has grown younger and less tested over the past couple of years. Adding a player like Fant brings credibility and composure, something you can't teach in the film room. If signed, he'd become one of the few true veterans in that offensive line room, and that kind of presence matters come December and January. And here's the subtle thread running through these moves: Aaron White-Cotton's influence. His fingerprints are all over these evaluations. From Pyion Winfrey, who once played on a White-Cotton coached defensive line, to now Fant, who lined up against him. The Cowboys are tapping into a new voice in the building. And if these early signs are any indication, that voice is being heard. This isn't just about filling out a 90-man roster. This is about competition. It's about culture. And it's about finding those overlooked talents, those hungry veterans and under-the-radar playmakers who might just end up being the difference between another playoff disappointment and a real run. The Cowboys are evaluating every inch of this roster. They're not taking shortcuts. They're not banking on past glory. They're working, and that's exactly what this fan base should want to see. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. These aren't just random names. These are hand-picked prospects, players with tools, traits, and potential. And it's no coincidence that new defensive line coach Aaron White-Cotton is starting to leave his mark on the roster. You can see it already. He's identifying what fits his system, what kind of motor he wants up front, what kind of size, strength, and explosiveness he's chasing. And the Cowboys front office? They're listening. Take Pyion Winfrey, for example, standing tall at 6 feet 4 inches and 290 pounds. That's size. That's power. That's a frame built to make an impact. Then there's Derell Levelston, checking in at 6 feet 3 inches and 280 pounds. Another big-bodied interior presence who can take up space and bring heat from the inside. Now let's be clear. Neither of these guys are traditional nose tackles. They're not the classic 330-pound space eaters you see in some schemes. But that's not the point. In Mike Zimmer's evolving defensive approach, it's more about disruption than anchoring. Quickness over sheer bulk. Penetration over passiveness. And that's where these guys fit in. This isn't a desperation move. It's a calculated one. These players have something that caught the attention of this coaching staff. A spark. A flash. A trait that could bloom into something real with the right development and opportunity. And whether the Cowboys sign 1, 2, or none of these players, what matters is the mindset. They're flipping every stone. They're not waiting for the perfect situation. They're creating it. That's the mark of a team that knows it's close, that understands every spot on the roster matters, that knows depth wins games in December and maybe championships in January. So are these names game changers? Maybe. Maybe not. But one of them could be this year's Cavante Turpin or Brandon Aubrey. A quiet signing today, a difference maker tomorrow. And as we wrap this up, here's the bottom line. The Cowboys are working. They're active. They're aggressive. They're listening to their coaches, trusting their scouts, and looking for that edge, whether it comes from the NFL, the UFL, or anywhere in between. So stay locked in. Stay watching. This roster isn't finished yet. Not by a long shot. Something is building in Dallas. Something with purpose. Something with fire. The grind continues.